Hello everybody, welcome back to Skyscraper Week and Skyscraper number 5, the final one. So this skyscraper, I made in Newfield City, and it's actually one of my favorite skyscrapers I've ever made. It's a really simple design and it does so much for the city or wherever you make it. So let's go over the materials. Again, you might see a lot of likeness between all the materials. You can either use quartz or you can either use snow. So let's go over what we're going to do today. So this will be a windy building. I don't know how to exactly to describe it. Let's start off with a base. So the base I want to be, maybe, you don't want to make this directly right next to a building. So don't make it like 2 blocks away from a building because you're going to run into some problems. Make it maybe 5 blocks to 10 blocks away. So what we're going to do, I would even go 15 blocks away to be safe. I'm going to make a perfect square. So what we're going to do is go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And so I'm just going to connect them. And again, obviously, I've said this in a lot of the parts, I'm downscaling these tremendously. So maybe even make like a 30 by 30 perfect square for this building. Again, to make things go by a little bit faster, I'm just going to downscale them a little bit. So what we're going to do is come 2 blocks up, and then we should have a window like this. What we're going to do is, we're going to make our perfect square again, just outlining it. We're not going to connect them. We're just going to leave them floating like this for now. And so you're going to see a pattern with these perfect squares. We're going to come up again, do the exact same thing. Well, just like this. And so what we're going to do is just have another perfect square. And there's actually a building I made kind of by accident. I made 2 of them. But it's just like a perfect design, I think. It's just, I know I've said this in a couple other ones, but it's really, I'd probably say out of all the buildings I made on my city, this is the most eye-catching when you see it. Especially if you make 2 of them right next to each other that are symmetrical. They just look fantastic. And so what we're going to do is stop here. Alright, so we have 4 perfect squares just like this. Now here's where you have to make a decision. So it doesn't really matter. It's going to be the exact same, just by the way it looks will be a little bit different. What we're going to do is come out to a corner, and we're going to make a pillar. And what we're going to do is have it come out 1 more block. And so we're going to make our perfect square again, but it should be 1 block diagonal, kind of like this. And so what we're going to do is now connect them again. Let's do the exact same thing, just like this. And so you might see what building we're making here. And so now we're just going to turn it. So this will kind of look like the Leaning Tower of Pisa a little bit, but it will come back, which is the main thing. It's not going to stay out wide like this forever. And so let's do it again. And so again, if you're making this a lot bigger size, you want to make sure you have more of these. I'm going to use a little bit less again to kind of move on the tutorial a little bit, but because hopefully you guys understand the design. And so I'm going to do a couple more of these though. And so I think I'm at maybe 3 right now, looks like. So you might even see the design already. It's a really simple design. And the great thing about this, you can keep this going however tall you want, and it would actually work in real life because it still has the same center of gravity going out through the entire building. And I'm going to add this last one here, and then we'll move on. And so this is why your perfect square is very important. I guess it doesn't have to be a perfect square, but I feel like it kind of helps a little bit when it comes to realism. Just like this. Do I need to take some more swiftness and some more night vision? Probably should. Okay, so if we come down to the bottom, we can kind of see what it's doing. Yeah, as you can see, it's kind of going out away from itself. But what we're going to do is now we're going to turn it going back in. So we're going to do something just like this to where now it's going back in. So it'll basically end up, we want it to end up exactly where the base started. So that's what I mean by it has the perfect center of gravity to where it's going to end up where it started, which is what we want. It gives it that wavy look to the building. And so now we're just continuing this, nice and simple. That's why I like this building. It's a really simple. It is very time consuming when you make it a lot bigger. But when it's all said and done, you will not regret it. It's definitely worth it, in my opinion at least. And everybody who's joined my city has really loved that building, so maybe you will like it too when it's all said and done. Especially when it's bigger. And so, we're almost done. And we're actually going to turn this more than once. We can turn this other ways as well. So you don't just have to turn it one way. You can continue with what you're doing. So we want to end up where the base starts, which would be here. So we need to have it come out maybe 2 more, it looks like, to come back. Oh. Alright, let's have it come out again. And just have it come around town. You want to make sure you want to make sure you have that offset look a little bit. You don't want to make sure they're even with each other, otherwise it would just make the entire building look off, so you want to be careful with this though. And so this should be our last one, it looks like. Maybe actually even one more after this. And have it come back. I mean, I will admit, when I was making this on my city for the first time, I messed up. And I didn't even intend for the building to be this tall. When I first made it, I was like, alright, I'll just make it. And it turned out to be a lot taller than I originally thought. Okay, so we should be good here. I just want to make sure they're even. Which they are. Good. So what we're going to do now, as you can see, it goes out and comes back in. What we're going to do here, if you look, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 things of perfect squares in a row here. We're going to do that again up top here. So we already have 1. So 2, 3, and 4. Alright, now let's make our perfect square again, perfectly in line. We're not going to offset these or move these. They'll be perfectly in line with each other. And then we'll get to the next part of it, to where we turn it again. And so what this will do is, I like using this because it gives it that straight look a little bit. And also this will set us up for our next turn, to where if you just went from turn to turn, I think it would look really weird because they're not really perfect turns, they're more just lines going up. But that's really up to you. If you don't want to do the perfect straight and just want to go straight into the next turn, that's perfectly fine. And so this will be our last one. And what we're going to do is So now you can see we have that perfect straight up there. So here's the option that we have. We can either have it come out the exact same way, or we can turn it to go a different way. So what I mean by that is, this is where it helps to have that perfect square. We're going to have it come out this way this time. Shake things up a little bit. So let's make our perfect squares again. And so it will stop here this time. So as you can see, it's coming out a different way. So when we're all said and done, we should have a little bit more of a unique design, because it's not just turning out once and then going the same way again. It's going in a complete opposite direction. So I think that's why I like it so much, especially when it's all said and done. It looks great. I already know where to put the windows and everything. Whoa, I almost made that perfectly even, which would have been a bad thing. So that's where you got to be careful. So I'm trying to think of, we're just going to keep doing this. We want to make sure we have, before I talk about something else, you want to make sure you have the exact same amount of turns as the one down below. So what I mean by that is, let me stop this real quick. So if we come down here to our first turn, we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's when it went back. So after our 5th one, we want to go back in. So we're at 1, 2, 3. We need a couple more. So I'm trying to think what I want to do for my next series. Every now and then I want to do series like these to where they're a full week thing. Maybe a modern house series, just stuff like that. Maybe for tutorials. Because I feel like SkyScraper week, hopefully people like it. These are all recorded by the time they've come out. I won't know, but hopefully people like it. And especially since we're already all through week 5. And so we're coming in. Turn it. And so leave comments on what you think the next one should be. And because I'm always open for suggestions because they're great. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, now we have it come back in now. Come back to the middle. Just like this, and just like that. Oh, hold on. I need a... Okay, so it needs to be here. Okay. And I just wanted to make sure I got it right. Don't want to mess anything up here. And so now, we're just going to keep going back in. Now, I will say, windows for this building. Windows are a huge pain in the ass. Pardon my language, but they are. Just because you can't, if you're using PC and you're making this, you can't use World Edit. You can't do any of that because basically every window is different. You can only really use World Edit on the straight parts, which is only a couple blocks tall. So that's the only bad thing about a building like this, but when it's all said and done, I think it's worth it, worth the time that you put into it. And so we're coming back in. Alright. I'm not too sure how many we have to do to get it back to being centered. Well, we're at the C though. Looks like it's maybe one more after this. Then we'll be even. And what we're going to do is after this, we're going to stop it. Because hopefully you guys understand what we're going for here when it comes to design. And the great thing about this, you can just continue the turns if you wanted to. You can continue more turns. You can have it go the same way. There's so much you can do with a design like this to where it's almost the possibilities you can do with it are endless. So there's so much more you can do. Let's make sure it's even. So it needs to stop here. Go up. Okay, so now we need to add our straight again. So just like this. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now let's add our perfect square in here again. And let's take some more night vision to finish off. And then I'll show you how to put the windows in here. So the very last perfect square will be a little bit different because we're going to make it a little bit taller for a little bit more roof design. Because usually roofs have a little bit thicker walls at the very top. I'm not sure why. It might just be for design. There's probably a reason behind it. Some architect in the comments will probably let me know. But when we get to that, we'll go over it. And so let's finish this off with our last one. And so what we're going to do for this last one is, whoa, messed that up. We're going to finish this off, connect them, and let's make it to where together it will be 3 tall. So we're not going to have a window, but just this perfect square alone will be 3 tall altogether in height. And what this will allow us to do is also add our actual roof in here, which one thing I like doing for roofs now is I actually like adding stuff like grass, because from the top you just don't really expect it. You see a lot of like stone, stuff like that, but you don't expect to see grass all the time. So we're gonna take out the grass, not glass, and we're gonna put it right here. And so we're just gonna fill this in with our grass. I always mix up glass and grass when I'm trying to come up with which one I need. Granted, they are really close to each other when it comes to words. And so let's just fill it in. Again, this is definitely downscaled from the one I made on my city. The one I made on my city, the perfect square was probably either like 40 by 40 perfect square or a 30 by 30. I think it might have been a 30 by 30. And so there we have that. Here is our building. If we come down to the very bottom, you can see the design. So everywhere you look, it has that turn, which is what I like about it. And so if you're making this a lot bigger, add more. Like I added 5 of the ones coming out. Maybe add 10. Maybe add a little bit more. Maybe add a little bit less. Depends on what you think looks best. So just experiment with it a little bit. And so your windows will just basically go like this. They're gonna go on top of the courts, so the diagonal ones, they're going to sit on top of them like this. The ones to where they're just even, they're just going to go right behind them. Nice and simple, right? Not too bad. The ones in here, just go like this. So the windows will look pretty weird when they're all done, but that's how it's basically how you would have to do it. Unless you want to use glass panes, which glass panes would be a little bit harder to use on a building like this. So this is the design for the windows. Just fill them in like this. This one here, you would place the window there. Alright. So thank you for watching, guys. Please rate and subscribe. Hopefully you guys like this series. Again, leave a comment on which series you would like to see next, because I'm always down for suggestions. So I'll talk to all you guys later, and again, thank you for watching SkyScraper Week.
He's on fire! Fire! Yeah. Hey. I remember sitting in school all day up in class.